GPL Podcast, a production of GopherPuckLive.com. Now, let's join Hammy, Vigo, and your host, Jupiter. Good evening and welcome to the GPL Podcast. We're back after taking a week off, and we're a little short-handed this week because Vigo cannot join us. You know, his wife and kids are all sick, and I think it was just better for him to take the night off. At least that's what he thought. But we do have a special guest joining us. You know him from his long stint at KFAN and more recently at 1500 ESPN Radio. But next week, he's moving into something completely new. More on that in a little bit, but let's welcome Jeff Dubay to the GPL Podcast. Jeff, how are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well.
This is technology. I mean, I'm blown away by this. I'm talking at my computer screen right now.
Yes, you are. And, you know, we're doing this via Skype, and this is all new for you, I know, but you better get used to it because what are you doing soon? You're doing your own podcast.
Yeah, well, not my own.
Well, you know what? I know you're going to have someone on with you, but you know what? The radio situation just kind of gone to nowhere because I heard you talking about it last week that there's no money being put into radio anymore, and it's killing the whole area. But this podcasting thing is a new thing, and it might be just up your alley.
Well, I'm telling you, from the middle of January till early February was kind of tough personally for me. I mean, there's nothing out there. I mean, I called people who I know like me and I know respect me, like Mick Anselmo and Dan Seaman had to let me go. These are guys I've known forever, and nobody has anything. And everybody thought I was going to just walk into the ticket. I mean, they waived my no compete at 1500, and my bosses flat out told me, I mean, if they don't hire you in a week, they're idiots. But I went over there and I did 2 hours, and I don't want to tell too many tales out of school, but I think I fell victim to some rumors and some misinformation, and it's a little disturbing to me. But I mean, I basically spent a week and a half, kind of moping around, thinking, "Geez, it's curtains." I mean, that was my last chance, and now there's misinformation about me or whatever, and I didn't know where it came from, and it was completely inaccurate. And then all of a sudden, I met with Sean Bernard, and a week later, I got something going on again, and it's right up my alley. So we'll see. I mean, I'm pretty excited. I mean, it's going to be this or House Painter. So what the hell? So
you're going to be part of like the Tom Bernard kind of little podcast network, or what's going on with that?
They're going to have 24 hours programming. I mean, it's going to be around the clock eventually. Right now, I guess I'm not counting Tom. I'm the first daily show, but there's 2 more that are just about to sign on. Actually, 3 more. And I don't know if I'm at liberty to divulge. But
you don't need to do that. Don't want to get you in trouble right off the bat.
They're all Twin Cities media types.
Yeah.
Actually, one's a Hollywood media type from Minnesota. That's all I'm going to say. So just back off.
But this whole thing's new to you.
Well,
this is actually your first real podcast right here.
Yeah. I mean, but talking into a microphone about sports is talking into a microphone about sports. Of course, I'm not getting paid for this, so it's a little different.
Well, neither are we. So.
I'm messing with you. But I'm in a dark room with no clothes on, so that's familiar.
Too much information. Too much information. That is totally you, though.
Puffy.
Sorry, I had to put that drop in there.
So what's the format going to be like? I mean, you just picking like what's happening in sports that particular day or week, or I mean, what's the format going to be?
It's local sports. I mean, I know when you're on the internet, you're wherever anybody wants to hear you, but the show is going to be in Minnesota. It's going to be a local sports show, as if it was on local air. But we're not going to have the commercial breaks. We're not going to have the fluff and all this. So what we're going to do, since I've been known to talk fast anyway and be a little frenetic, and I decided it wasn't going to be a cerebral meandering through the meadows of your sports mind. It's going to be a frenetic, fast-paced 60 minutes where we're going to give you a 3-hour talk show worth of content in 60 minutes and call it Give Me 60.
Give Me 60.
Yeah, we're going to save you 2 hours.
You're starting Monday, right?
You're going to get everything you need in 1 hour and then save 2 hours a day.
So, and this starts Monday, right?
It starts Monday, yeah. Yeah, we today actually hatched an idea to because it's such a perfect marriage. We're hatching an idea to do a Vikings post-game show next year because
that would be off the charts.
Can you imagine a Vikings game post-game show where the hosts and callers can swear. It's going to be ridiculous. I'm serious. I mean, can you imagine?
Well,
God.
the only problem you still got to worry about the drunk idiots, though.
But no, you don't. It's the internet.
Well, sometimes with the drunk idiots, they'll just kind of
goat while they're on the phone with you. It doesn't matter. There are no laws. It's Thunderdome. I mean,
that is true.
If you're a disgruntled Vikings fan, and they all are to an extent, and they lay an egg against Chicago, are you going to want to call Ben Lieber and breaking it down with all due respect to Ben, like in a real clinical kind of a fashion? Or do you want to call me and Tom Bernard and just on a profanity-laced tirade that makes you so spent you need a cigarette when you're think about it.
Well, I assume you're gonna you're gonna be recording a podcast. You'll release podcast, an hour or two after you're done. Yep. But are you gonna be broadcasting live like you guys were this afternoon as well?
We are going to be live daily at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
And it will be. And this is a little tricky. This stuff I don't totally get. We don't have an app yet, so to download it, you'll have to go to jeffdubay.com.
Yeah.
But if you want to hear it live at 8 o'clock, it will be on the Tom Bernard Show app.
Yeah.
So we'll be available live on his app, but not on demand on his app.
I see. I figured out a ways to listen to it without those apps. So
well, you're welcome to come over and sit in on the table anytime you want. Just don't say anything. We're welcome to have guests. I mean, they got a bar. They got a wet bar. That's a really nice setup. I mean, nobody.
So you're going to have guests on the show then?
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, we can, and it's only 1 hour, so I don't want to do more than a guest a day. I mean, I want to just use people that I've used in the past and have good relationships with. Guys
but you're going to do it at 8 p.m.
When Diane's got a real great relationship with Quincy Lewis and Jim Peterson, they've already committed, so it's going to be the typical talk show types.
But doing it at 8 p.m. is going to kind of cut in on your Gopher hockey.
Yeah.
At least on Friday nights.
We actually do get 8 o'clock starts fairly frequently now.
Yeah, but
Big Ten Network is going to actually do me a solid here by delaying the start times of games.
So you're going? Are you going to be from 8 to 9 or 7 to 8 or?
Oh, and here's the other thing too. I mean, it's 8 to 9. Yeah. But I mean, I coach a baseball team in the summer up in Maple Grove, and I mean, so if I want to, I can go and record the show at 2. So, I mean, if I want to do the Friday show and get it in the can, I can get it done by dinner time if I want to. Okay. The world of podcast.
That's true. One thing we like to do is we broadcast live. People are listening right now. They could tweet us live. So make sure you push that live part of it. So
8 o'clock is going to be the standard, but there will be times where it just might move for a day or two because I got stuff going on.
Because it's just the way how you get interactive. We've got people tweeting us questions right now that we can answer live as we're recording the podcast. And
yeah, we might take calls from listeners if we can coordinate it well enough.
Well, there you go. So it's positive for you, isn't it?
Oh hell yeah! Are you kidding? It's life affirming. I mean, it was the rope down the well, for God's sake. I mean, like I said, I was just going to go do whatever I could to just make a few bucks until I could figure out what I was going to what direction it was going to be. I was going to start calling the Learfield and places like that because there just aren't any stations left. So the funny thing is, 5 or 10 years from now, I mean, even 3-4 years from now, you might if this trend continues. I mean, and I know Tom Bernard is a different animal. I mean, Tom Bernard is one of the most commercially successful radio personalities in the history of this market, probably the most in the history of this market. But his show is printing money. I mean, it's unbelievable. He has a chance to maybe make enough on that show in the next year or two to leave radio. I mean, to leave over-the-air radio and just sit in a room and swear with his buddies for a living. And that's kind of a dream of his. And just the way radio's trending and the way podcasts and internet's trending. And you're looking at the internet coming up in cars in the not too distant future, like reliable internet.
Yeah.
I mean, you might see a lot of radio personalities make this move by design rather than out of necessity, like I did. But it's going to be. I mean, I'm excited. It's a blast. I own the show. I control the revenue. I mean, it's my own thing, and I cannot be fired. I mean, unless I really get mad at them.
Well, how about that? What about the revenue? I mean, do you have something coming in, or is that something you need to build on your own?
Well, it's something we build as a partnership. It's why I'm part of a network. If I went out and tried to build a podcast, and I couldn't do it. I wouldn't have a prayer. I wouldn't have the physical plant. Not that you need much. I mean, I'm talking into a computer screen right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, you gotta have a client base. You gotta have just some wherewithal. I mean, Sean Bernard is a guy I worked with at Clear Channel years ago, and he's Tom's nephew, but he's also the top digital media sales guy in the market. It's not even close.
Okay.
I mean, and in the digital sales, if you know what you're doing, the advertisers, they're blown away by it because they're looking at website hits and direct marketing. I mean, like you can, say, hey, Common Man told me to stop on by, but you don't know who heard the spot if it's on the radio.
Yeah.
But anything that's podcast is directly. I mean, there's a click. I mean, there's a view. There's a download, and people know exactly what they're getting.
And I think the targeting is even better as well.
Yes,
I followed this another type of podcasting network called the Twit Network. It was done by Leo Laporte out of San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And he built his own thing. He wasn't on television anymore. He was starting this podcasting thing when it was just the beginning, and he built it up. It's a whole tech network. They talk about Windows. They talk about podcasting. They talk about Macintosh security, all this technical stuff
for the nerds. But that allows them to target specifically in their advertising. I mean, it's just an advertising revenue that's really targeted, and that's what advertisers need these days. Well, the podcast demographic is off the charts. I remember when I was working at the Fan, everybody envied our demographic. It was men 25 to 54, and so that just those are the consumers, those are the spenders and the earners, to a large extent, and the podcast audiences, and for those out there listening to us right now, you're the cream of that crop. I mean, you're the educated and profitable and lucrative yuppie crew who doesn't, turn on the radio. You download something off a website because you're in an office behind a desk.
Yep.
Not in a ditch, with a pickaxe. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But
the world needs ditch diggers too, right?
I mean, I've been on a chain gang. No, I haven't.
Oh, wow.
I'm just kidding. But
well, we'll take any advertisers. If anyone wants to advertise on the GPL podcast, just let me know.
It's a great demographic. I mean, the podcast listener is a very desirable demographic.
We'll take the money, won't we, Hammy?
You think I'm going to see any of it?
Hell yeah! If we sell advertising on here, it's being delved out equally. Let me tell you.
Yeah, well, okay. I'll believe it when I see the check.
Yeah, I know. Nobody cares. It's Gopher hockey, man. We're definitely a small audience.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a loyal crew too. I mean, you'd think places like that kind of a place would be interested.
I'm thinking places like Ticket King, and even that would be excellent even for you guys.
Yeah,
because you're talking sports.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we'll definitely talk to ticket places. I've never thought of myself as a networker. I'm just a guy who throws out opinions and BSs. But
yeah,
I mean, they've been having me go through my my mental Rolodex, which is a little damaged. I'm not going to lie to you, but there's a few cards missing. But I'm dusting off the people that like Tom Smith, the Optimum Mortgage, the mortgage guy, and I mean, I'm not going to call Body Solutions up and see what they're doing these days. There's a few advertisers I'm going to look to get in touch with. Maybe Continental Diamonds, and try to stop in and say hi to some old friends. I'm gonna be making some sales calls. I'm going to be a man about town.
Well, it's your show. You can do whatever the hell you want.
If I could get a massage parlor, that would be ultra.
Oh, boy, here we go. You're not doing the podcast from Duluth, are you?
Oh, geez, that's sketchy. That is.
I think there's an Asian rub and tug in Hopkins.
Oh, Asian rub and tug in Hopkins.
Well, Hopkins has places that if I would have been 10 years older than I was at the time, I'd probably be in jail right now. I mean, like forever jail. Not the jail I was in. I mean, like long-term jail.
Well, it sounds like you're pretty excited. It's something totally new for you, and boy, it's...
I was out of breath because I was drinking some grape juice. I'm not that excited.
You should be excited. I mean, obviously, like you said, the local market is starting to suck. It just is. I feel bad for Chad Hartman over there at WCCO. It seems like he can't talk more than 3 sentences before he has to go to commercial.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with their clock or their format. But I mean, I feel sorry. To be honest with you, I have some concerns for the guys that I left behind at my most recent stop, because that's an AM signal. You just can't put numbers. You can't turn numbers there. There's some quality programming there, and it's just.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was like just before Christmas. I'd run into people, and they'd recognize me and say, "Hey, what are you up to these days?" Like, I've been at ESPN 1500 for 10 months, but nobody knows. But it is what it is.
Well, a lot of us Gopher hockey guys were listening to you.
I appreciate it.
Because
I appreciate it. You know what I miss? Lou Nanny. I miss Lou Nanny. I got to get him on my podcast.
Well, do it.
I will.
There you go. You've got all these connections. Get the Don on there. Get Grandpa Tolney.
Oh yeah,
he's one of your boys.
Paid deal. He's got a paid deal with the fan, but I don't know if a conflict with a podcast.
Patoli doesn't.
Well, what I'm trying to angle is I want to get PA to come in so we can have at least one reunion show.
Well, people would listen to it. It's just a podcast. It's not broadcasting over the radio, so hopefully,
right.
Clear Channel wouldn't have a problem with that. But
yeah, I think it would just come down to whether or not Chad Abbott would be agreeable to it. And since we're friends, I think he probably would.
Yeah, well, yeah. I heard you talking on Tom's podcast last week, actually, that if they were to put you two back together, the ratings would probably go through the roof again. But there's no money anymore. Yeah,
I'm just basing that off. I mean, I can't go on Twitter without seeing 10 requests a day for the P and Dubay reunion, and it's really pretty touching, pretty moving, to be honest with you, because it's been a long time. Hell, it was 2008. I mean, that's 6 years ago. I'm surprised people remember, but I don't know. It's just
it was part of people's routine. I mean, I was listening to it every day.
I mean, we were having so much fun, and it's I mean, I screwed it up. It's my own fault, but the people see me unemployed and available, and they think, well, you know what? Why don't they do it? But I mean, Clear Channel isn't Chad Abbott, Dan Barrero, and Paul Allen. It's a bunch of guys in San Antonio, and they don't give a damn about an old show that was on in Minnesota. They care about what the bottom line is at the end of the quarter. So I'm not a priority for people in San Antonio.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some Gopher hockey, guys.
Yeah, that's what this is about. Isn't
that's
it?
what it's about. Well, we had to catch up with you.
Me on Twitter yesterday. Thanks, Justin. I appreciate it. Yeah, I grew up with this Uncle Chuck. I mean, I've known him since I was 5.
Well, the Gophers had the week off last week, which was nice. Actually, I just saw a tweet from Gopher Hockey wondering on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did we miss them last weekend? Well, of course we missed them. You weren't playing. But the weekend before that, we swept Michigan. Hammy, 5-3, 4-1, sweep over Michigan. Hopefully they're in the rearview mirror. But give me your initial thoughts on the Michigan series.
Feeling was it was great to see them kind of rebound considering the prior 2 weeks, and especially offensively. We struggled for a couple of weeks, and now we got 9 goals against Michigan. Granted, it's a different style of play that they have, but nonetheless, it was great to see them rebound offensively. Certainly, it was, to me, I think it's a burgeoning rivalry. I've talked about this for a while. I think this is going to be eventually, not right now, but eventually the replacement for the North Dakota rivalry, because all the games that we're going to be playing them every single year, and they're probably going to be meaningful games. Yeah. We saw some of the cheap shots that we got from Michigan, which usually helps get that rivalry cooked up. So I think that certainly is an exciting thing from a big picture standpoint. But overall, it was a great weekend.
Well, for me, like I've said this on many times in the past, Michigan has always been the number 2 rivalry for me. Those losses in the NCAA tournament back in the 90s, the college hockey showcase, the games were always fast-paced, entertaining, just like the North Dakota game. So they've always been my number 2 before even other teams like Wisconsin and Duluth and whatever. Jeff, what do you think about this rekindled rivalry with Michigan?
Oh, there's no doubt. It's the up and comer. I mean, it's going to be. I mean, like Hammy said, it's going to be the king of the hill. And if anybody thinks that you've elevated it too quickly, the difference between people who have that rivalry in an elite level and those who aren't quite ready to put it there yet that's the difference between those who have been to Yost and those who haven't. Because once you've gone, Michigan fans are. I mean, they're the scum of the earth. And I had no idea until I experienced it firsthand. I mean, Gopher fans, I feel a simpatico with when I'm on the road and I'm in a town with Michigan State fans or Boston College fans, because we don't have a bitter, horrible, brutal history against those teams, and they beat teams that we want them to beat, and vice versa. Yeah. We get each other's backs, kind of like how Maine and North Dakota had kind of a man-on-man love affair going for a while too. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean, and these Michigan State fans, they'd paint these pictures of these Michigan fans basically being, drunk, rabid Badger fans. And it's just like they made it sound like couldn't even be possibly as bad as all that. And then you go to Ann Arbor and you're just like, oh my God, this is. I mean, I was just. You've been to Yost, both of you, right?
I have not.
It is a zoo, and the people are horrible. And my first exposure there was actually an NCAA regional in 2002. And
with CC.
Yeah, we beat CC. We didn't even have to play Michigan.
Oh, luckily.
And it was beautiful because we had the early game, and so we punched our ticket, and then Denver was playing Michigan, and these Michigan fans have just been horrible all weekend. And after the first intermission of the Michigan-Denver game, which is a game Michigan won in come-from-behind fashion against a Denver team that never gave up leads. They were so stingy. Dublowitz and that crew.
Oh, that was a good team.
But this Michigan fan came up to me and said, "Who do you want to see win this game?" And I said, "You, because we'll beat you." I mean, Denver took us out in the Final Five title game in very workmanlike fashion.
Yes.
They were no fun. They were no fun. And I mean, I wanted Michigan. I mean, the Gophers have had Michigan's number since the turn of the century. Or the millennium, actually. I guess if you want to be big about it.
How stupid are their fans, though? Are they as dumb as Badger fans?
It's so dumb. They think Yost is like this great old venue, and it's still place to watch games. But it was a field house until 1970 or something. I mean, it's only recently been a hockey arena, I believe. I mean, it's not like it was a hockey arena when it was built in the 1920s or whatever. It's kind of like we got nothing else to do with this piece of crap. Let's play hockey in it. I mean, and it's got some flavor. And I do miss old barns because the WCHA turned very modern as also. And I do miss just the old, dingy, smelly, musty places like the Deck and the Dane and the old Mariucci and the old Ralph. But having said that, I mean, Yost is not a place where they were playing hockey in 1920. It's kind of like faux historic, but it's cozy, but it's just too obnoxious to enjoy.
So I should be concerned if I ever go there. Then the fans are jackbags, basically. You're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll get a feel that you kind of had at the old Mariucci. I mean, it's not set up exactly the same, but it's a field house where you are crammed in.
Yeah.
It's a fun atmosphere. I mean, you got to do it sometime. Do it before you die. It's like running with the bulls.
Well, and the other thing you have to remember about rivalries is that, the changing nature of rivalries over history. I mean, my father, I talked with him about this. He went to the U kind of early 60s, and back then the rivalries were Denver and Michigan. I mean, North Dakota wasn't even on the map in terms of rivalries at that point. And so I understood why a lot of fans were upset about North Dakota and all the changes and all that. But I think that they need to realize you have to give it time for some of these things to build up. And I think Michigan, no doubt, will be one of the top one or two rivalries for the Gophers moving forward.
Well, and the games are always fun to me because while Wisconsin is clearly a historic rivalry that will stay a rivalry going forward, they're no fun. They're just, you can only see so many 2-1 games before you just go, Jesus, get these guys out of the league.
Oh, we were bitching a couple of weeks ago about that. We got swept by Wisconsin. We were bitching about, their style of play. Well, yeah, because it's freaking boring as hell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when people, for years and years, people always ask you, well, who's if there's a coach in the college ranks that's ready to move up, who would it be? And it never happens. I mean, they go, from Canadian juniors up into the AAHL and the NHL. They don't come from college hockey. I mean, Blaze tried to do it; he couldn't do it. But you look at guys who play system hockey and stick to system hockey. Just nailed to the cross system hockey. And Eves is the poster boy for it. I mean, he plays an NHL style, and he's inflexible. He never leaves it, and his guys come out very NHL ready. I mean, to his credit, and he's successful with less talent than a lot of other people have. And if there was a coach that you just could handpick out of college and say, you need a college guy to go coach your pro team, which doesn't happen, but if you did, Eves would be the guy.
Oh, can't stand it. Just can't stand it. I literally miss the old Jeff Sauer Badger teams.
Well, yeah,
it was just way more fun, and it just pisses me off. That's all. You just
don't have Max Williams running around being an idiot anymore. I hated it.
Take that, you stinking Badger!
Yeah, take that, as Glenn would say. Well, the Badgers swept Michigan State this past weekend, and that didn't do us any good. We could have had Michigan State at least win one of those games. They were, again, low-scoring games, Hammy. I gotta hate the Badgers.
Yeah, well, they're not gonna. I mean, if you're insomniac, they'd probably be the team to watch, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they argue that they're such a great, their team is great, and they argue that they're not playing that kind of slow it down style. But the reality is that Most of their games, they've had such a weak schedule this year, as far as the last 2 months. I mean, they've had some teams, the Gophers, and they played Michigan, but, last couple of months, they haven't played the cream of the crop. So, I mean, you have to kind of look into those stats a little bit with a skeptical, view. But they swept. You have to give them credit for that. And you kind of expect them to at home. They've been really good at home this year and terrible on the road. So hopefully with these last 4 games of theirs on the road, even though one series is against Penn State, hopefully they'll drop 1 or 2.
Well, they're only 1 point back now. I mean, we do have 2 games in hand, but, they're 1 point back. And obviously, even with the 2 games in hand, the Gophers really need to just kind of get through this and keep Wisconsin behind them.
Well, you know what was so weird last year? When the last time we saw Wisconsin in the regular season, they looked like nothing. I mean, they were nothing. By the end of the year, I don't know where it came from. I mean, we see, North Dakota get off to slow starts and come charging, and we got used to it. The Gophers had done it from time to time. But Wisconsin was a team that, we were going to February last year. I'm thinking, this team has nothing. And when the brackets came out, I looked at the 16, and I had them in the Frozen Four. I mean, I really thought that they were on that kind of a run. Of course, they made me look like an idiot again, so I hate him even more. But but what they do is they have enough to have a couple of really good, reliable guys on the blue line and one really good line. I mean, like the Mersch, Zangerli. I mean, they can load up a line that will score a goal or two, and then everybody else will just go out and check you to death, and it can be enough. And it sucks.
Boring.
Mm-hmm.
Just boring as hell. It wins, we hate it. It wins, but I'm allowed to hate it because it's just.
It wins some. I mean, if they wouldn't have been the only team ever to get a regional and a Frozen Four in their home state, they'd be titleless going back to what?
Could be.
90, whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, after playing us, getting swept by us, Michigan plays Penn State at Yost and splits with them, Jeff. What?
Friday night was great.
What the hell? I watched that on my iPhone, and I couldn't believe it. How did Penn State win at Yost?
Yeah, I mean, they beat Michigan twice this year.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. One thing that really jumps out about Michigan is they've got awful goaltending. I mean, they have got Special Olympics goaltending. I mean, it is a disaster. It is. The guy, I can't even pronounce his name, the guy they played against Penn State, because they had Racine for our series, correct? Both games?
I believe so, yeah.
But then they played some guy with some like Dutch-Swedish Noodlesford name or something. I mean, I can't even pronounce it. But he could barely stand up. He could barely hold a stick. I mean, I wanted to see him in a wheelchair at intermissions. They have the worst goaltending I've seen from, a potential top 10 team in years.
Well, they still got the offense, though, and that's why there's still a slight threat to Minnesota.
Well, I'll tell you what. The Saturday night game at Mariucci. I mean, you talk about the Gopher Michigan weekend.
Oh, yeah.
The Saturday night game was the game that caught my attention because anybody who watched the first 20 minutes thought, boy, I mean, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the first period of the game against Duluth where we got waxed. Where we were hanging on, but we were just not competing. But here it is against Michigan. And I mean, Michigan, they could have run us out of the building in the first 15 minutes, and then we chip one in at the end of the first period, get the lead early in the second, and all of a sudden we have a very professional dispensing of a team that looked like they were going to run us out of our building on a night where we looked flat and had a potential letdown from the night before. So that Saturday game is the game that really showed me something.
Hammy, any thoughts on Penn State and Michigan?
No, I mean, I think, like I joked on Twitter, they must have some kind of Michigan Wolverine kryptonite. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to me that the 2 wins that they have in the league are against, Michigan. I don't know if it's a matchup situation for them or exactly what it is, but it's kind of interesting because but at the same time, Penn State has been pretty competitive against some good teams. I mean, they played us, pretty tough when we were out there. They certainly played. I think BC only lost to them by a goal. Or, I mean, BC beat them by only a goal when they were in Penn State. So, I mean, they played some good teams pretty tight. So, I guess, not entirely surprising that they might give Michigan a tough time.
You want to look at a pattern or a trend, though. I mean, Michigan has some first periods where they look like they are going to steamroll teams. And Friday night against Penn State, they jumped out to, 2 goals in the first 5 minutes? I mean, when I'm watching that game and that happens, I'm going to Netflix. I mean, I'm flipping to it. I'm going to Netflix and finding something I can watch for the next couple of hours because I'm thinking Michigan 6-1. I mean, Penn State on the road. Yost is the most hostile building in the conference. You could say that about it without a doubt. and Michigan is obviously more skilled than Penn State. 2-0 in the first 5 minutes sounds like 6-1 to me.
It should have been over.
Yeah, how they lose that game is head scratching. But again, at Mariucci on the road, different scenario. But they looked so good at the first 15 minutes Saturday night. I thought something's going to have to really change for this ice to tilt the other way. And I was impressed at how easily it did, to be honest with you. But I think Michigan must really fade. I mean, they're known for these great first periods, and they're not having a great year. So something goes wrong along the way.
But they're still capable of putting you away.
Oh, yeah.
So that's they're still. I think they're still a huge threat out there, and they're. You just never know when it gets to a one-game scenario at the X later on this year.
Yeah.
So.
And it's easy to sit there and say there's 2 or 3 teams that you look at, but then Yale comes out of nowhere, and
True.
they're the worst national champion I've ever seen in my life. Damn it, Michigan State from a few years ago are the 2 worst teams I've ever seen win, bar none.
Well, to kind of piggyback on what Jeff was saying, I mean, Michigan's outscored opponents by 10 goals in the first period, and second period it's a -3, and the third period it's only a +2. So he's got that dead on that.
Yeah, they are known for this fast start, but I mean, we just saw them at back-to-back games, Saturday at Minnesota and Friday at home against Penn State, where they looked so good and lost both.
Yeah. Well, we've got quite a few questions via Twitter. Let me throw a couple at you guys. Martin wants to know, has the softer schedule, the Big Ten versus WCHA, helped the Gophers in their prep for the NCAA? They might be a higher seed, but will they be prepared, Jeff? With this, conference schedule, it's not as good.
I think that the schedule has allowed them to look a little more complete than they are.
Okay.
I mean, they're a very good team. The record does, speak for itself. I mean, your record is what it is because it is what it is, and nobody gave it to you. But when we had Gensel on at the Commons when Don was overseas, during the commercial break, I just leaned over and Gensel is as straight a shooter you're going to get, and I said, Mike, how concerned are you that when you get to the tournament you're not going to be big enough? And he goes, Jeff, scared to death. I mean, that's probably off the record. So they're not very gritty. I mean, they got some grit. They work, but they're not big and physical. If it wasn't for Ambrose, they had very little net front presence. Him and Fashion really were the only guys who really provide the muscle out there. And it's like the weekend in Wisconsin. To me, that's what could go wrong in the tournament. I mean, when guys like Klus and Camerata start getting erased. I mean, they're young, they're small, they're extremely skilled. But, this team almost reminds me of like a really good Woog team where you got young, small high school guys from Minnesota, and they just got kind of erased in the postseason. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but this is not a team that I'm convinced, walks through anything.
Hammy, thoughts on the possible softer league schedule?
Well, I mean, I think that's always a concern when you're, playing. I mean, we didn't obviously have to worry about that too much in the past with the WCHA, but, at the same time, I say to myself, I think down the stretch, we're going to have some pretty competitive games. I think that in the Big Ten tournament, we should likely face, a couple good teams. We've had some good out-of-conference teams this year that we've played against that, the BCs and the Notre Dames and some of these teams that are, if not NCAA, they're on the cusp of that. We played St. Cloud and Duluth, So, I mean, I think that we've been challenged enough. And if I remember correctly, I think we had like either a top 5. Last time I looked, it was like one of the top schedules as far as strength of schedule goes in the country, as far as that statistic goes. So I'm not overly concerned about it. As far as the size goes, I mean, yeah, but that's not a physical team. But then again, you see a team like BC who's made a living off of that speed and transition game in the NCAAs. And not that they've been small, but they're not exactly known as a big physical team either. So, and they've given teams like North Dakota fits during the NCAAs. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it comes down to matchups, the kind of rink you get on, the kind of team you're playing against.
Josh Coop wants to know which freshman has had the biggest impact so far this season. Hammy?
Boy, I mean, that's a tough one because there's been such good performances. I kind of want to go with Hudson Fashing, even though Clues has been great and Camerata has been, pretty solid himself. Fashing, he's got the size. He's kind of completed that top line. I think he's added that physical element. He creates that kind of space in front of the net. He scores a lot of those garbage goals that, a lot of other guys on the team maybe aren't necessarily known for, maybe Ambrose and a few others, but I would say out of all the guys, he's the one that's impressed me the most because the reality of the matter is coming into the year, his stock had dropped the last couple of years because he just did not, he didn't perform as well offensively as a lot of people had hoped when he went to the U.S. program. And to see him kind of, come back this year and kind of take the bull by the horns and do so well offensively, I think that to me has been the biggest surprise out of the freshman.
Well, and you nailed it with him and Klus. I mean, Klus is my personal favorite because he's got just an electric skill set. I mean, his speed is. I mean, it used to be that a kid would come in, and no matter how skilled he was, he would just kind of feel his way until the holidays. And in the first period of the first game against Mercyhurst, Klus just said, "Screw it," and turned the corner on D twice in one period. And freshmen don't usually have that kind of presence to know I am that much better, I am that much faster, and I don't have to wait till after the World Juniors to show people. I mean, so he's been different from the outset, but Fasching has brought something that this team needed desperately. That was a net front presence. And when you talk about getting a guy up front who makes a difference, too often people just think size and physicality are all that matters. But you've got to have hands, and Fasching has got playmakers' hands, and he gets his stick on everything.
One thing I also like about Fasching is that recently, I'd say in the last month, his puck handling skills have been improving. He's holding on to the puck a lot longer. Guys can't get the puck off his stick. It's just he's controlling it similar to what. Oh boy, who did we lose last year? I'm just blank. Bukestad. Bukestad used to be able to keep that puck on his stick for a long time and just kind of keep people off of him. And with Fasching, I'm starting to notice that type of dominance by him.
Fasching does it in a more physical fashion too. I mean, Bukestad was so angular that he was all elbows. Like they say about a pitcher with a funky delivery, he's all elbows and assholes. But that was Bukestad. He had knees and elbows poking out in every direction. He was like shaped like a jumping jack, and nobody could get near him. I mean, he had like this field shield around him.
Well, I think the other thing with freshmen is they're obviously a lot of times. They're worried about screwing up. And so, with a kid like that, he's probably thinking to himself, I just want to get rid of the puck. I want to move the puck, get to my open teammates, so on and so forth. And now that you've played, almost two-thirds of a season or whatever, they're certainly going to be a lot more comfortable. So I'm sure that's part of it as well.
Question from Todd Johnson. Is Brodzinski going to be back this the weekend, Hammy?
I believe so. Both him and, Saratori, I think they were both aiming to have them back this weekend. So I would imagine that he's going to be back.
I think he's along with Boyd in the shot in the arm, he gave the power play. I think Brodzinski's as underrated a power play presence as there is on this roster because he gets pucks to the net better than anybody.
Yeah, and that's key.
Well,
he finds those openings with that wrister.
He's got a heck of a shot. I mean, it's just like his brother. They're both good shooters. I think that he had a lot of success last year in USHL, offensively. So I really believe that moving forward, he's going to be a big cog in the Gopher machine, especially on the power play in future years.
Yeah, I mean, some guys just have a knack for finding the openings. I mean, I like Ben Marshall's skills a lot, but he finds a lot of shin pads, and guys like Brodzinski find little openings.
Oh, I hate that. Nothing worse when they're shooting it in the forward's legs and it's out of the zone, and it's a key skill. It's a key skill.
I used to love Benelli because he had that lateral movement along the blue line where he could just kind of dangle and go side to side and just kind of float until the guy slid by him. I mean, he was so patient. But Brodzinski's he finds openings.
Todd with another question. Will Penn State be as boring to play as Wisconsin? What do you think, Jeff? Are they going to try to do the same thing of shut us down?
It's too early for me to. I mean, I've seen them play like 3 games in their entire program history. So to sort of think I can map out the route of style that they're going to embrace. I mean, when you are that talent deprived and that far behind a program like Minnesota, you can't skate with them. You can't try to go Michigan or North Dakota against them. That's why I love the Michigan and North Dakota series because those are two at Boston College. Those are like the only 2 or 3 teams in the country that will go at us and just play our style and try to beat us at our style. And you can't. If Penn State tried it, then Guy Godowski should be run out of town. I mean, they should take down his statue and throw it next to Paterno's.
If you're listening live and you want to tweet us, just use the hashtag GPL Podcast, and we'll try to read your question. I see Christina Worm wants to know the freshman with the most speed, and I think that's pretty much Klus.
Yes, he flies.
He can fly.
I can't remember seeing a kid come into the league with that kind of speed. I mean, it's so ridiculously noticeable. And like I said, I've known his Uncle Chuck since I was 5 years old. And we've had some real good heart-to-hearts on it. And he tells me that he's never seen so many defensemen take the angle they thought was the angle and miss. From Pee-wees on up, people think he's coming at a speed that he is surpassed in an unreasonable fashion, and nobody ever gets an angle on him.
I have a question for either of you. Do you think Condon is back? He started pretty well and then was quiet for a while. But I've been concerned about him all year. He hasn't been scoring like we hoped he would. I
think he did what he thought he had to do for the team. I mean, he took the captain duty very seriously, and they put him on a line with two kids that were going to play offense first and worry about defense when they had to, and he was their center. So I mean, he basically babysat for 2 months and made sure that when these guys are gone, someone's going to be here. I love the combination because they're the three fastest guys on the team. I mean, they're just lightning. And Condon is a fantastic, responsible two-way forward. And I don't that at that time they didn't have Klus at center. I believe Condon was still the center and then had that defensive responsibility. And Klus got off to such a blazing start because I think he knew he had that freedom because he had brother back there.
Yeah, Hammy, what are your thoughts? Condon, well, I've been concerned about him all year. We've talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, I thought he would have done a little bit more offensively this year than what he has. But, like Jeff touched on, when you're playing with a couple young guys, you kind of have to think a little bit more responsibly. He's always been a very good defensive forward. So, I think it's kind of natural for him to, especially when those guys started off well, to kind of take that role. And hopefully as, kind of goes down the stretch, that leadership and that, that senior, step forward and he'll be a little bit more offensively present. Going back to the Penn State question, as far as the style goes or whatever, like Jeff said, I think it's only a matter of time. For me, it's only a matter of time. They have the facilities, they have a good fan base, they have the backing of their administration. I mean, they're gonna recruit good players. It's only a matter of time. I mean, to me, they're the kind of program that's going to scare some of these kind of middle to smaller schools that have been good over the last 10, 15 years because they're going to have a lot to offer. They might not be taking recruits from the Gophers or Michigan or BC or whatever, but that next tier down, they're going to be very competitive for those recruits, and those are the guys that are going to be, offensive leaders for them moving forward. So I think it's going to be, not now they're not going to play that open style, of course, because they don't have the talent, but I think eventually I think they'll be much better.
Yeah, and what's going to really help them too? I think recruiting-wise, they are going to be able to challenge not the elite of the Hockey East for recruits, but I mean, the Boston schools will get who they want for the most part, but Penn State's going to steal a lot of guys because they, thanks to the Big Ten Network, are going to spend Friday nights on TV in New York City, Washington D.C., Baltimore, Maryland, all the way up to Minneapolis. I mean, that is an expansive network with major markets and great exposure and Friday night primetime games without exception, and that's a pretty good sell for a school like Penn State. If you're considering them or New Hampshire, and New Hampshire's a traditional power that is a much better program. But I think you could get to the point where you could start making arguments that Penn State has a little more to offer you in terms of exposure in that conference network.
Totally agree.
They do have a nice building.
Go Big Ten. We've got New York City.
Do we really now?
The Rutgers. I mean, New York City is a Big Ten network media market.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I guess I kind of like that little place they've built there.
For God's sake.
What?
We own the Eastern Seaboard. Go Big Ten.
The Big Ten Network has gotten better with their broadcasts throughout this year.
Point. They make money. They print money. Who cares?
They do. But
Here's about Dave Revson. It's all about the money.
But they gave us a shout out a couple weeks ago, so we're pretty happy about it.
Well, and they do hockey doubleheaders. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I know that we don't like to see our friends at Fox lose games because we get great coverage. But I mean, to the Big Ten Network's credit, they put the Fox games on the BTN to Go app and the website, so you still get them, and you get the on-air doubleheaders. It really is good for the sport.
Definitely is. It definitely is.
I think your boyfriend just called me on Skype.
Hammy, can you hear us? Did Hammy hit? Hammy says he can't hear us for some reason.
I think I'm getting a call. Nobody knows.
No, Hammy he's typing into the little text to type Skype window, and he's saying that he can't hear anything.
I'm receiving a message. Maybe it's from Hammy.
That is where you're receiving the message, Sean.
You see people out there on Skype.
Hello.
We can hear.
I'm telling you, there's some scary people out there on Skype. I've seen some weird things.
Hold on a second. I'm just going to type to him. We can hear him.
I heard him.
That's strange. For some reason, he cannot hear us.
That's what you get for using Skype. Just use phones. Be old school.
Well, no, the audio quality.
Well,
is
I'm
much
glad
better.
that you guys can hear me because I can't hear diddly squat right now. So you can call me every name in the book, and I'll just say yes, I'm here.
F you, Hammy. I'm gonna hang up on Hammy.
On a podcast, you don't have to say F you. I was told today. I said F you today, and Tom said, "Why would you just say F? You could say." When he said the real thing.
Well, I'm gonna reconnect with Hammy, see if we can get him back in here.
All right.
Because we need him to be able to hear us. Can you hear us now, Hammy?
It just said call failed under his name, so I'm guessing that means no.
Oh.
I mean, you really impressed me with the technical know-how and the wizardry that you were pulling off during the week with Skype this and Skype that. But it was a house of cards. You were a complete and utter
Hey,
fraud.
we usually do pretty well. And remember, I'm producing at the same time, so it's not as easy as you think. It's not.
No,
as easy.
you know what? Podcasting has already completely blown my mind in the last 2 weeks. I thought I'd just go and do a radio show. It's not even close. It's not.
I'd be interested in coming down and seeing those studios when you do a show sometime, because I want to see what kind of setup they have. Obviously, they got a lot of professional equipment, but it sounds like some of the stuff they're doing is similar to what I'm doing, and getting it out there and getting it live.
I'm just teasing. It's a really nice setup because they're in. You know where the Acme Comedy Club is? The Itasca building in the warehouse.
Yeah, I know where that is.
I think Hammy just was shot. By the way, I think Hammy just rubbed off the face of his picture. Just came down up Skype. But yeah, they're in that Itasca building, and so they're a really nice upscale, old warehouse building. Yeah. It's got like this big glass, bar with the marble countertops and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to stand there, just 10 bar, be a big shot. But everybody there is, in recovery. Me, Tom, Sean, and Di. None of us drink, so I just got to serve them up and pass them out.
Can you hear us now, Hammy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It was something weird, so it was better just to hang up on you and start over.
It
was strange because I know I heard your type come up, and I'm like, well, we can hear you when I told you to say something. So
but now Hammy sounds really disgruntled.
I know.
He's always like that.
No, he's not the same guy he was 5 minutes ago.
Skype, man.
This could work to our advantage. Ow.
Well, the reason I like to use Skype is that the audio quality is just so much better than telephone. It's just easier.
I'm just teasing. Yeah, no, you know what? You're right. It is. It's much clearer.
You don't sound like you're calling on a phone.
No,
I'm not. I'm calling.
It sounds like it doesn't sound the greatest, but you sound pretty decent, and that's one thing that I really want. You have a podcast, and the audio's got to be at least decent, or else people aren't going to listen.
Look, decent is the best I can do with a Sennheiser mic. It is what it is. God gave me what He gave me.
Yeah,
I mean, I ain't James Earl Jones. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, but if you sound like shit,
You just swore again. Jesus.
You know what? I'm going to make this podcast explicit anyway, so it's not a big deal.
When I did my first sit-in with Bernard last week, I let him fly. I mean, the profanities, and I felt terrible. When I walked out of the room, I felt like I'd sold my soul. I mean, I got over it, but I mean, it really felt weird.
At first, we haven't been an explicit podcast, and if something slipped, I edited it out. But then I started thinking, it's not like we're going to be dropping F-bombs all over the place, so why not change it to explicit in case something slips? It's not a big deal.
Don't do it. Don't do it to do it. But if
exactly.
If you're emphatic about something, you shouldn't tuck it either.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And,
Adam Abrams told you that. I stole it from him.
We did a live broadcast a couple of years ago during the Alaska Anchorage series. We were just sitting there talking about the game as it was on, had a ton of people listening, and I was getting pissed drunk throughout the whole thing.
No.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, I was drinking. I went through a nice bottle of gin throughout the whole thing. Hammy, I think you were on with me, weren't you?
I think, I was briefly on for a little bit, yep.
How come neither of you remember this? Did one of you roofie the other?
I barely remember it. But you know what? We're just commenting on the game as it's going on. It's not like we're doing play-by-play, but we had a bunch of people on, like 8 or 10 of us talking about the game. We had a friend of mine known who was driving through Wisconsin who Skyped into us via her phone while she was driving.
You have a female friend? Let me wrap my mind around that.
Wow. Jeez. You've met my wife. Don't be that way.
Well, I mean, you're all caught up in the Skype technology. Your advanced relations with females has got me blown away. But continue.
No, she's just an old friend. Hell, my wife might be listening right now just to listen to you. I think she likes you.
I think a lot of women are in that. I'm out there. Hey, I'm single. I'm a free agent. Oh, God, I just stubbed my toe. I've never stubbed my toe during a show before. This is completely your fault.
Oh, boy, my fault.
That never happened to me on a real radio show. Oh,
poor Jeff.
It does hurt.
Poor
Jesus.
Jeff.
Is there anything worse than hitting your shin or stubbing a toe? They're just, other than getting in the balls, it's the worst place.
Stepping on something sharp when you're walking to the bathroom at night. That sucks.
Yeah, it's like a Matchbox car.
Don't get me started. All right, back to Gopher hockey.
Yeah.
Jeff, what do you think overall about the team this year? I mean, are you positive about it? You think they could go far in the tournament? Let's hear what you think about it.
Well, they are, if they're not the best team in the country, they're one of the best two, they're on their short list, on the list of 2 or 3 best teams. I mean, they and Boston College are the cream of the crop. But I mean, Yale won the tournament last year. I'm not going to get over that. I mean, it's just, Yale was awful. I mean, if you go back and look at the season they had, I mean, they were awful right up to the end, and they were like 17-10, and they beat us. I mean, so who knows? And we had, for the first time in a long time, a goalie that I had complete confidence in. It wasn't on him either. I mean,
no.
But I mean, when you go in with arguably the top team in the country, and you are on every role imaginable, and you got the confidence, and you got a goaltender. I mean, that team, to me, that loss to Yale was every bit as shocking as the Holy Cross loss, because that team was falling apart. I mean, that team was. Yeah. I mean, the wheels were coming off that team. They lost 10-9 or 9-8 to St. Cloud, for God's sake, the week before that. I mean, they were falling apart, and they didn't like each other. I mean, Kessel, Patoni, they did not get along. There was a lot of infighting, a lot of rivalries, and just a lot of bitterness on that team. And I'm not going to say I saw that coming, but I could understand it in hindsight. What happened last year against Yale still doesn't make sense to me.
Well, Yale got hot. I mean, it wasn't just the Gopher game. They took out North Dakota. They made it all the way. I mean,
before that, what did they do in the ECAC playoffs?
That's true, but
I think we started it, to be honest with you.
Maybe we did. But they're happy about it, I tell you that.
Well, I mean, but my point is, and I know it's a real roundabout. And
it's fine.
Dodge the question. But, I mean, if you're going to make the shortest of short lists, the Gophers are one of the top 2 teams in the country, bar none. I mean, they're 1 or 2 by everybody's standard, and they deserve to be. But, I mean, again, we're talking a single elimination format in a sport where you have too many things come down to puck luck or a hot goalie or a fanned pass from behind your net. God bless Benny Marshall. But I mean, things happen. Randy Scarta hits the inside of a post. I mean, single elimination hockey is ask Team USA. It's very unpredictable.
Yeah. Don't get me started about that.
And that's the thing we were talking about on GPL earlier. I think this week or last week they were talking about the prestige of winning the WCHA when we were in it as compared to national titles and whatever. And I actually said that I think that winning the WCHA regular season title, it was more difficult of a task.
It was.
Because you have to do it week in, week out over several months than winning a national title, because national title, you could be the best team and you have a fluke shot here, a goalie plays great against you. It could be a million things that happen. And, I know the old cliche, I don't remember who said it, was it Brendan Morrison, the best team doesn't always win the national title, whatever it was.
All right.
I mean, there is an element of truth to that to some extent. Maybe not every year, but a lot of years, it's not always the best team that wins. So it's just a matter of goaltending and whatever.
Goaltending matchups. I mean, Michigan State, I'm not exaggerating. When I say Michigan State and Yale are really ordinary hockey teams. I mean, those are teams that if you put them in the later years, the last 10 years of the WCHA, the power years, those are teams that would have trouble getting home ice. And I'm not exaggerating. Those are very ordinary hockey teams. And and this is not to take a shot at our neighbors to the northwest, but in 1997, you mentioned Morrison. In 1997, nobody was on Michigan's. Nobody played the game Michigan played. Michigan was playing a game that was foreign to the rest of college hockey, and they get to the Frozen Four, and BU lays. I mean, they put their guts on the line and had this out of nowhere unbelievable win against them. to beat Michigan, and then they had nothing left for North Dakota. I mean, they went to that North Dakota game, with their tanks empty, and they didn't refill them during the game. I mean, so it comes down to matchups. I mean, 1997 Michigan is as good a college hockey team as I've ever seen. In North Dakota, God bless them, won a national championship without having to play them, and they played a team that was butt ass beaten down because they had to play them. So it comes down to matchups, luck of the draw. I mean, so many things happen in single elimination.
Well, I think the opposite happened to North Dakota just a few years ago when Duluth won it.
Yes.
They came in as the powerful team, and Michigan took them out. And I've told the story before. I was in the press box for that game when Michigan beat North Dakota, and I could not believe how many people in that press box were happy that Michigan won that game. They were joyous that they beat North Dakota.
Yeah. Well, college hockey is unique that way, where the media actually cares. In many cases, not in all.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got the Tim Hennessy's of the world. I mean, there's not a lot of neutrality in guys like that.
Well,
radio guys, they're all biased. Those radio play-by-play guys. I haven't heard one for any team that's not biased.
And then, that's kind of a trend in all sports because now all the teams control the broadcasts. But it's gotten to the point where it's not good for the sport to have so much cheerleading going on. And I like Tim, and we used to take the trips up to Grand Forks, because the Clear Channel, the long haul trucking saloon, we do the shows. And Tim, I really do like him. I think he's a good guy. But when he had that, do you remember his infamous moment where he went into Marriott Arena, opened the mic, and said, "You could just feel the arrogance when you walk into this." I'm like, that is one of the most, pot kettle. I mean, I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, teams in their own fan bases and their own media groups to a certain extent lack some self-awareness, and we do too, I'm sure.
Well, we're going to miss the great WCHA Final Five this year, but I think a lot of that is going to be in the West Regional because you know what?
Yeah.
We could face a North Dakota right off the bat like we couldn't before, or a Duluth, or
Big Ten tournament's going to be a real buzzkill.
It will be a buzzkill, but I think that regional has a chance to be something special.
I hope not. I hope they give us 4 crappy schools from out east and 3 from out east.
Oh, they're going to put North Dakota there, and they're going to want to put them in that first game.
I know. But I mean, what happened to being by the numbers? I mean, it was supposed to all be...
Yeah.
I kind of appreciated that.
Like the NCAA has any integrity. I mean, really?
No. I'm not going to defend the NCAA, but I did think for a long time that the pairwise was the purest form of picking a tournament field that you could possibly have.
Yeah.
Well, we can forget about Duluth now too, the way that they're going.
Yeah, they've kind of fallen off. But
yeah, that's a shame because they were really looking good there for a while. When we saw them, going to that North Star Cup final, they were starting to peak pretty nicely.
I mean, we could have both North Dakota and St. Cloud in that West Regional. So
yeah, that would be ridiculous if they loaded up that badly. That would be ridiculous.
It could be,
especially if you're the top overall seed, you deserve a little bit of a break.
Well, we hope it happens, but you just never know with the NCAA.
No,
you just never know. So, what can you do? What can you do? All right, guys, we have rambled on long enough for this podcast. Jeez.
I just drank a cranberry juice, for God's sake. Hurry up.
Jeff, will you come back on with us again sometime?
Anytime. I can't believe you'd want me to, but yeah, anytime.
Well, I tried before, but, at first, you didn't have a computer, you didn't have all this technology.
I was pretty depressed for about a month.
That was a while back, and you didn't have the tech, and then I asked you a while back, it was right after you lost your job, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just ask anyway.
What job? Just like a month ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my girlfriend and I broke up like 3 days before I lost my job, too, so it was a rough stretch. It was not a good month for me.
Ouch.
Yeah, the 46th birthday on January 19th was not a festive occasion. But
Puppy. Puppy.
I'm always going to love that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. Remember, you can follow Jeff Dubay on Twitter at Jeff Dubay. He's starting a podcast next week on the Tom Bernard kind of podcast network. So,
hang on, I'll put my pants back on. Hang on.
Oh, geez, here we go. You'll have to wear your pants next week when you're in the studio, too. But you're also going to you'll have your podcast. It'll eventually be on what? I'm guessing iTunes and JeffDubay.com?
I mean, we're going to use Spreaker, we're going to use iTunes, but the simplest, I don't have to tweet them all out. But I mean, if you want like a one-stop, catch-all place to get them, just JeffDubay.com.
Okay, and obviously on iTunes as well, just like GPL. You can find us everywhere. Hammy.
Yes, sir.
This was an entertaining week.
Yeah, absolutely.
I take it you're going to pick the Gophers to sweep this weekend?
Well, if they don't deserve to win the Big Ten. So, I mean, they should take care of business. We definitely need them to take that 7-point lead again. So, hopefully, they'll take care of business.
Vigo said sweep too. So, Puffy, you thinking sweep as well?
Yeah, if Guy Godowski thinks LeVar Arrington and Kurt Warner and help me out, give me one more Penn State football player. If he thinks that Calvin Booth, if he thinks that comes,
Kijana Carter,
what a rich
Kijana Carter. Come on.
Well, did you guys see on Twitter today the picture I put out? Did you see the picture of Pride on Ice with Penn State
we
shirt?
always trying to wait for your tweets out. What's that?
They're selling a Pride on Ice T-shirt at Penn State for hockey.
No.
I shit you not.
Is it what features cocktail?
No, it just says Pride on Ice with the Penn State logo on it.
Not like a whiskey on the rocks?
No.
You got to be.
Check my Twitter account. You'll see I posted earlier today.
That's what I consider myself when I was in lockup. I was Pride on Ice.
Oh.
It's self-deprecation.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Well, isn't that a slogan or a slang for being locked up? You're on ice, or maybe.
Being locked up. I mean, whatever.
You want to hear something ironic? You know what people like to watch in jail? A show called Jail. Have you ever seen it? It's a show about people in jail, and it's watched by people in jail. It's absolutely perverse. And I don't mean perverse sexually. It's just demented. You're in jail.
Yeah.
I watch it show people in jail. Look around.
Jeff Dubay, folks. Thanks, Jeff, for joining us. We will get you on again sometime. Thanks for listening to the GPL podcast. We'll be in the back next week without Jeff, though he added a lot to the show, I must say. And we'll recap this Penn State series and talk about the series at Ohio State. And Jeff just hurt himself. See, I can hear him hurting himself in the background.
It's not over a lamp. This never happens in radio.
Thanks for listening.